Welcome to another episode of the Boot Up or Shut Up podcast. This week, we're kicking off the Saints opening game. We're also talking the next step for LSU, and then a little clapback from somebody who's been in Louisiana a little too long, and you can tell by how their attitude changed. Because look, at the Boot Up or Shut Up podcast, we don't just talk about the games, man. We talk about the attitude, we talk about the fanfare, and we definitely talk about errors. And the Saints are kicking off the Kellen Moore era, and they're doing it in grand fashion. New uniforms, new everything. Peep this. We're talking about the Kellen Moore era kicking off with new everything, new coach, new feel, and they're really buying into it by having this new uniform kickoff, which we thought was going to be real dope. But look, man, I don't know. Soon enough, the shirt I got on is going to be considered gold as far as the Saints brand is going. Like, I don't know whose decision it is, but we just need one gold. We don't need to have every variation of gold. Like, they're going to wear two different. It's like, what was that? I'm going to get you sucker with OG'd over gold. That's what we're doing right now. Over gold. Pick a color of gold and just stick with it. But anyway, man, just on the video, first time they had gold end zone since the Super Bowl, and that's not even the same goal we had there, but I digress. Look, all this means is new energy in the building, and it's kicking off with the Kellen Moore era and being able to talk about exactly what it is that he's trying to get out of this team. You can tell by all the newness, by the transactions, by people that's not here no more, that it is truly his coaching debut. It is his team, kind of like it was for Sean. Again, I don't have to get into the whole Mickey thing I did last episode where, you can see it was really Sean and not Mickey. Same thing with Kellen. Now, he doesn't speak a lot like Sean did, and he's kind of a silent assassin, but you can just tell exactly by JT Gray, longtime captain, longtime special teamer, all-pro, no longer here, right? They're giving some of these young guys opportunities. I talked about it last time. Isaiah Foskey no longer here. Easy to say because he's not playing well at all. He's a second-round pick, and he didn't even make it to his third year with the team. You don't usually just get rid of people like that. But he's putting his stamp on things. And so let's talk about, besides the symbolic goldness of their tagline is was gold is new, it's a reset. And part of that is new energy. Week one, talking about playing the Cardinals, who also are just an average team. So the Saints could get a win. But let's just be honest. Chase Young just got ruled out. Trevor Penning, we already knew he'd been hurt since like preseason game 2 or whatever. He's been ruled out. So what does that look like for the team? You got to have backup step up. Cam is going to have to play more plays. I'm sure he's cool with that than he had to before, but it's game 1 of the season. He's not going to be any more fresher than he is right now. So that's how you replace Chase Young. Cam and Granderson. You got Chris Rumph. You brought him in for a reason. Your pass rush is going to have to make do with that. And you could also bring the rookie, who we mentioned a little earlier, took Foskey's place for Dale Diggs. You can bring him up from the practice squad to round out your 4 edge rushers. But, I mean, it's really just going to depend on what attitude this team brings. You have a not rookie, but young, slightly inexperienced quarterback on offense. You have a brand new defensive scheme with a lot of new players on the back end. New player in the middle, and Devon Godshaw. So it's a lot to ask of this team to, I'm not even going to say overcome. They get to write their own story. We joke kind of about them being terrible and not winning no games and having number one pick. But at the end of the day, they're professionals. And everybody right now feels like they have a chance to go win the Super Bowl. So we're going to see what happens. They may stay healthy and other people don't. They may backslide to the playoffs and get hot. You never know. But that's why they play the games, as your boy Chris Berman used to say. So look, besides the new era and what Kellen brings with these injuries, let's be real. What does a W actually look like? Like, it isn't just the scoreboard. For this team, and especially this whole season, a win looks like a few things. If you on the number one pick train, a win looks like losing the game. For me and a lot of other people, a W just looks like progress. I don't want to see you go out there and get blown out against any team. I don't care who you're playing. I don't want to see you get blown out. I do want to see you have some discipline. Don't beat yourself. No, a lot of turnovers. Don't have a lot of penalties. Run the scheme. This year is about setting a new foundation. Just go out there and make the plays that are to be made. Other teams' rosters better than yours? Yes. Other teams gonna beat you? Yes. Man, don't get blown out. Don't quit, and just make progress. You should look better in week 5 than you do this week. This is basically a glorified preseason game 4. So you can win because Arizona's doing the same thing. They don't have a dominant team. They're coming in with Kyler Murray. They're coming in with some new defensive pieces. But at the end of the day, you had all summer to figure out how you're going to win game 1. And if the Saints can do that, who knows what can happen? 4 games, 5 games, 8 games, who knows? We'll see. But if they don't win this first one, it might get ugly. They might not win the rest of the month. They're playing San Francisco in the Dome next week. Then you go to travel to Seattle. And then you travel to Buffalo. I don't know. It might be a tough month of September if we don't. Let's get one. That's all I'm saying. Let's get one. And how do you get that one? We're gonna introduce a new segment here as the season progresses, and it's called the second line. Right? If you know anything about New Orleans, and if you don't, you've seen it. The second line is a joyous and somber occasion. It starts off kind of as a funeral, and you mourn the dead, and you just somber music with the band in the front leading. And then at some point, you know what? It turned to a party. Let's celebrate life. Celebrate this person. And it goes to the second line. Well, the reason we're calling this segment the second line is because it's going to highlight the people who need to make a difference in each week. And they may not necessarily be the star or the obvious choice. You can always pick the quarterback. I can go ahead and pick Justin Reed. I can go ahead and pick Cam Jordan, whatever, right? Obvious choices. I could pick Alvin Kamara. Obvious choices. But who are some people who really need to have good games outside of that? Because the second line, the party's in the front. Everybody, all attention's on the band. It's the people that are in the back dancing and just letting the spirit move them and having the most glorious fun you could ever see in your life, letting loose. That's the ones that make a second line a true experience and party. And so for our second line players of the week, for the Saints this week, it is defensively, man, it's got to be Kool-Aid McKinstry. Look, Kool-Aid had a great rookie season. As you can see, he's a cover corner. We don't have Marshawn anymore. We traded him away. We let Paulson Dabo go. And you drafted this man in the second round for a reason. And this is the time that he needs to step up now. And so, can he be a number one shutdown corner? Because if he can't, you're going to have a long season if we can't cover the outside. You look at it, Alontae Taylor has moved to this star position because, look, let's be real. He's not really a boundary, as they call it, boundary outside corner. He's better for the slot. He's going to rush the quarterback, play a little safety, be in the box. He's going to be everywhere. So Kool-Aid is it. You drafted Quincy Route in the 3rd round, but you don't know what you're going to get out of him yet. We don't even know who our second is. Right now it's Isaac Yiadom. I think he did great when he came in a few years ago. We'll see if he holds up for the whole season. But as you see, this is Kool-Aid's rookie year. Look, as a third and coming in the filling for Marshawn, he was thrown out there and he did a great job. Paulson Debo went down, so he had a lot of experience from last year. Can he be a true number one? That's our first second line player. On offense, we got to go with the running back room, specifically Kendre Miller. AK is going to do it, but I need all the running backs. He has the potential. And I mean, it's just, can he actually come through with it? You have a young quarterback, and you're going to need that young quarterback to step up and cut it off. Trying to find a thing. 3, 2, 1, we're back in. You have a young quarterback. You're going to have to have somebody, AK, Kendre, Neal, whoever it is back there, Velus Jones Jr., you got to help establish running game. If you don't have a running game, it's going to be a nightmare for Spencer Rattler back there trying to throw the ball all freaking day. So we can't allow that to happen. And our third, wild card kind of second line play, the person that's going to be in the video just footwork on crazy, we need to really come through, is none other than Juwan Johnson. I can't express to you how much Spencer Rattler is going to need him. The offensive line was trash in the preseason. Now you got Penning hurt. You got a rookie at left tackle. Cesar Reed been trash since last year, right? And it's like somebody has to step up. The running game I just talked about is one piece. But there's going to be, if you don't have a running game or you ain't making plays, it's going to be a lot of third downs, a lot of third and longs. He's going to need a safety valve. AK is going to be covered. And look, Juwan Johnson, this is his opportunity. I think it's his last one. Kellen Moore has a friendly offensive system that is friendly to tight ends. And Juwan Johnson is a pass-catching tight end. He could be a Trey McBride, who we're going to see on the other side with Arizona. He can be a Travis Kelce. I ain't saying he is. I'm saying he can catch the ball. I'm saying he can make things work. I'm saying he has the ability to be an outlet, especially open at the middle on crossing routes. You see here, he's coming through the seam. He can make the tough catches. He's a former wide receiver. He has to step up and give Spencer Rattler somebody else to work with, okay? Like, he has to, or it's not going to go well. Like, let's just keep it 100. If he doesn't step up, it's going to be a long day for Spencer Rattler. So that is how we're going to do the second line. You'll be hearing it each week. Let me know down in the comments, who is your second line players of the week? Who needs to be a impact player that steps up that we may not be looking for, but if they do their job and do it well, the Saints going to be in a good place, Next up, we're going to transition to talk about them fighting Tigers at LSU, your number 3 team in the nation, right? Had a great week. We all know we've been living on a high, just talking about the defense and where did that come from? You knew about it, but you need to see it. And so I talked about last week, man, look, the theme for this week is confidence is contagious. The Cardiac Cats, the Fighting Tigers at LSU, are playing Louisiana Tech this weekend. No, it's not the same hype as you've been thinking about Clemson for the past 6 months. But you got to get up for the game. You have a lot to prove to yourself. The noise is out there, and we'll get to that in a minute. But like I said, the W in Clemson wasn't just about a W. It's about building confidence. You went out there and did everything that you said you were going to do on defense. You had a pass rush who controlled the game. You stopped the run and made them one-dimensional. You had a secondary who was looking like DBU of old out there. You had Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks flying around the field making plays at the line of scrimmage and in the passing game. On offense, you ran the ball over 100-something yards rushing, right? Nuss didn't have his greatest game, but Nuss managed the game well, right? You got Trey Dez involved. And so you did everything that you talked about. Not everything. Wide receivers got to get more involved. But it's a confidence builder. And so as you roll into week 2, what does that look like? Like, you have to go out there and execute. Work on the run game some more. The offensive line still needs to gel. You need to work on the passing game, getting the wide receivers involved. Chris Hilton, blank. Barian Brown needs to get more touches. I don't care if it's a sweep. I don't care how you do it. He needs to get the ball in his hand. Aaron Anderson needs the ball in his hands. Almost had 100 yards. Needs the ball in his hands more. And we didn't even talk about Nick Anderson. I don't know if he had a target. I think he was out there blocking a few. I don't even know. And we got to figure that balance between Bow Sharp and Trey Days, because I feel Sharp was like force-fed early, and then they got the Trey Days late. So there are things to work on offensively. Defensively, I want to see the same effort. You're playing Louisiana Tech. I want to see – I'm not even going to say a shutout. That's rude. I want to see you not show the effort that happened against Nickel States of the world last year, where you got ran through, right? Lower level schools, whatever you call it, conference, Big Four, whatever it's called, power, this. You are supposed to beat up on people who are not on your level. And Tech is not on your level. So it's like a 35-point spread or something like that, whatever it is. Just go out there and do your job. Work on the things you got to work on. Get efficient because you got Florida the following week. And lastly, don't eat the cheese, man. Don't eat the cheese, as they say. Everybody nationally is on your nuts now. Everybody's talking about, oh, LSU came out and they finally won the first game. They set up for the rest of the year. They dominated, blah, 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 blah. They were just talking cash money about you last week, about how you couldn't do it, how you was going to go out there and embarrass yourself again, how you overrated. Now the Heisman odds are on us. Now they picking you to win the SEC title. Don't do it. Go out there and just make sure you pay attention to the things that you're supposed to do. Nuss, was named SEC Co-Offensive Player of the Week, and I believe he was like a national award for quarterbacks. Braylon Moore, good to see. Your brand new center that transferred in was the offensive lineman of the week for the SEC. You had Mansour Delane, another transfer cornerback, took over the game, number 4. And he had a national award he had this week. Everybody is loving you. That's what comes with success. Stick to the plan. Stick to y'all script. 1-0 every week is what y'all preaching, right? 1-0 every week. Get the dub this week, but do it by working the receivers in, getting the O-line some more cohesion with the run game, and showing the defensive effort that you showed last week, and suffocate Louisiana Tech and prepare for the game next week against Florida. Get everything right. And as we transition, I talked about a little earlier about eras, and this is the era of LSU getting the defense back. Saints' new era of Kellen Moore. Well, here's one more new era that I love. Brian Kelly, bro. Brian Kelly is out here clapping back at people, being smart, being short, and not running. Some of the best teams that win have this attitude, so I love it. Some of the best teams out there just have that confidence about them, where they're going to tell it like it is, whether it's professional or college, and mostly it's professionals. In every sport, they go out there and tell you what they're going to do. And in a world where everybody wants to be PC and you can't say how you feel about people truly, I appreciate what Brian Kelly said. And if you forgot, let's talk about it right now. Let me pull it up for you so you can remember exactly what happened. Your man Dabo was over there trying to talk cash money about the game. And in short, Dabo said, hey, LSU did really good things, and we're very, very happy that we were able to be in the game with them. But then he gave some backhanded compliments. Dabo had the audacity to say that LSU really didn't do nothing. He gave his team a grade of an F, and he gave LSU an F too. Backhanded compliment. Basically saying, yeah, they won the game, but only by a little bit. And he may not have meant anything by it, but man, here's what he said, and here's what Brian Kelly said back to him, and I promise you, I love it.
It was a hell of a game. Down the last play. Right out of the gate. It's like getting the final exam day one of class. They made a 65, we made a 58. Neither one of us were great.
We dominated him in the second half. So he's either a really good grader for, giving himself a 58, or he's a really hard grader on us, or he didn't see the second half, which that might be the case. He might not have wanted to see the second half.
What? Hey, that man said, I don't know what he was looking at, but he didn't see the second half probably. And he probably didn't want to see it. Boy, Brian didn't hold his tongue. I love it. So we're in the era of confidence being back at LSU. The DBs are back there having swagger, shutting it down. We running around the fans. You can't tell us nothing. We're on Clemson field afterwards dancing, doing our two-step, not being ignorant, but having fun. And the spark is back. We've had offenses the past few years. We won a title in 19. But all you had since then was offense. We had the Les Miles era where we just ran the ball and played great defense. We never really could get a quarterback. Now we got quarterbacks out the yin-yang ever since 2018, and we can't figure out how to get defense. But we might have one this year. So it is just crazy to think that we might be having our swagger era back. I hate the word swagger, man. We got to find something new, but confidence, swagger, whatever. You get it. We got our era back, man. And so that is this week's Respect the Boot. Dabo, we might see you again in the playoffs. But what you ain't going to do is get on here and tell us what we look like. If you want to talk about your team, talk about your team and how y'all failed and what y'all didn't do. Because we should have beat y'all worse than that. So respect the boot and keep our name out your mouth. That's what Brian Kelly said. Because he is the ultimate purveyor. Right? I'm going to get him the boot up or shut up award this week. We ain't got one, but I'm going to make it up. Brian Kelly gets the boot up or shut up award this week for telling Dabo to shut the hell up. So we are going to leave it at that and end on an amazing note. And look, we got a new coach, new gold uniforms, kind of gold, a new end zone. That means we got new confidence for the Saints. LSU is rising. The Saints is stepping out. And down here, man, look, we respect the boot or you get stepped over. It's really that simple. So this has been another episode of the Boot Up or Shut Up podcast. I appreciate y'all support. Please like and subscribe. Hit the button. Make sure you are tapping in. And look, I want to hear from y'all. Who was your Boot Up or Shut Up person of the week? It ain't even got to be sports. Let me know. Who from the boot did something and was like, yeah, they represented. Who are your second line players of the week, right? Let me know. And we'll be back after the game Saturday and after the games on Sunday with our recap. So be looking forward to that. And I'll holler. Appreciate y'all. That is it. That is a wrap on it.